This is the place.
It's so well hidden. But there's nothing spooky about it. Let's go inside and take a look. Weird. It's bigger on the inside than Paimon imagined. Are you sure it's still a work in progress? Ilias, do you remember this place? Huh? Ilias! Where'd he go?
I don't sense him nearby.
Did he get separated from us? Should we wait here or turn around and look for him?
There's no need for that. Let's keep moving.
Alright. We'll continue in and see if he catches up to us.
It's okay, Ilias. You've done more than enough for me already.
I don't understand. Everyone knows that Johnny is stealing your research. Why is no one willing to go public with the truth? He shamelessly used your thesis to send in a project application, and whenever the project hits a wall, he asks you for help. Everyone knows what's going on.
Do you know how many people are working on that project? If Johnny was kicked out because of academic fraud, that'd be the end of the project. Too many people would be affected.
But he's obviously taking advantage of you! He throws you the hardest work, and after you're done pulling all-nighters, he struts around with your research data and takes credit for it. That's not right! Why are you putting up with this?
A lot of people warn me to not say anything, and I think they have a point. This is just how things are. All I want is to graduate without any problems. It's okay. He's at least paying me.
Half a year of your time and effort, countless all-nighters, and casual threats and insults, all for a measly 20,000 mora? He's treating people like cattle.
Enough. It's fine. I just need to suck it up and get it done.
What's the matter? Huh? You could read minds this whole time and you never told Paimon?
Of course not. I was also able to see those memories just now. They were probably the ones that leaked out while Ilias was connecting to the collective consciousness.
Connecting collective consciousness?
It's clear that this place isn't a work in progress. The hive has long been finished. The collective consciousness project is already complete, and Ilias is now returning to the collective. Not entirely. Keep walking and you'll see why.
An entire year's worth of work down the drain. And for what? Your reputation? Do you have any idea how many people you've brought down?
You could have played hero any time, so why couldn't you have waited until the project was complete?
I don't understand what you guys are saying. Are you saying you don't care that Raju jumped to his death?
It's a shame. What happened to him? I thought he was stronger than that. Everyone has been working hard to complete the project. He could have endured for a bit longer. But he chose now, of all times, to...
In any case, we're done with you. Because of your recklessness, the Matra are putting Johnny on trial. This project is done for. None of this affects you at all. But do you know how many people, myself included, needed this project to complete their studies? Now our futures are up in the air. If worst comes to pass, we might not be able to graduate. Do you understand now?
I'm sorry.
There's no need for an apology. It's not like I'll accept it anyway. You'll pay for this.
Hey, you're blinking out again. What did you see this time?
Don't jump to conclusions just yet. Save your words for when we see him.
Alias, this is all very strange. Is there really no research group that will take you? Well, to pass this course, you must complete a paper with other researchers. I know you're a hero for fighting academic fraud, but well, we can't make exceptions for heroes, now can we? Maybe you should try to improve your relationship with the other researchers. Getting a reputation for being too unconventional will not stand you in good stead in the long run.
I understand.
You seem troubled.
Who are you?
Where are my manners? My name is Suraj.
Suraj. I've heard of you before. Do you need something from me?
The world hates people who don't fit in. I imagine you've had your fair share of trouble. After you reported Johnny for academic fraud, you were ostracized and shunned. Even your family can't understand your actions. However, I'm working on some research that will help you merge into a collective. That way, your life won't be so dolorous. How about it? Wanna have a go?
What did you see?
Paimon can't believe it! He really did trick us! That giga jerk! No, Siraj is the real giga jerk here. Ilias is just a regular jerk. Ooh, Paimon's so mad! We're gonna find him and we're gonna make him explain himself! Yes!
You've come. I intentionally slowed my integration into the collective consciousness because I wanted to see you one last time as Ilias. And I wanted to apologize to you as him. It was only at Gandharvaville that the second thing I must do occurred to me. Bring you all here. To throw off the Matra and bring Alhaitham to the hive. That was my task as Siraj number 36.
You were already Siraj number 36? But you passed the Matra's lie detector test!
Yes, I truly did forget many things during that time, even my identity and assigned responsibilities. However, it's not that I got scared and forgot. I chose to delete those memories. It's difficult to fool Alhaitham, so I had to create the perfect guise for myself.
And the best guise is when you believe your own lies.
Correct. I only told you that the hive was incomplete because I had deleted my memories of its completion. It was finished a long time ago. Before I left, I was already living as number 36. Now, I choose to return to that identity. Only here can I be truly free. That's all I wanted to say. After I enter this room, my consciousness will merge back into the collective. And so, this is goodbye.
Is this your decision?
Yeah, the person we know is Ilias, not Siraj number 36. The outside world is painful sometimes, but Paimon doesn't think that's a reason to run away.
Do you need more time to consider, Ilias?
Hey, who are...
That is Siraj.
So you're that giga jerk!
Giga jerk? How bold of you. Have I done something to offend you?
You!
I modified Akasha terminals to allow users to share memories and emotions. Then, I recruited researchers from the academia to build a collective consciousness. I assigned numbers to everyone and divided the experiment's tasks amongst themselves. Here, people can live easily and happily without needing to exercise complex mental thought. This is what they have chosen. All I've done is fulfill their wishes.
You're just trying to justify yourself!
Then I ask you, what's the difference between here and the outside? There are researchers at the academia who engage in dangerous research in extreme environments while others become idle and listless. People are so obsessed with collective will that even those on the fringes will attempt to fit in after suffering setbacks. Isn't that right, Ilyas? There's no need to deny this. As it is fact, it is natural for social creatures to congregate together. And the terminus of conformity is a collective consciousness through which even an ordinary bee colony can become a powerful swarm. Replace the bees with humans, and this model becomes even more potent. Welcome to the hive, Alhaitham. You once arrogantly denied the merits of this project before the Grand Sage. A few simple words from you, and my research was consigned to nothingness. Of course, I'm well aware that you don't care about any of this. You don't care about the pain of others. But I didn't give up. I made my thesis into reality.
When we arrived, I noticed many empty rooms in the hive.
Oh, you noticed that? Then can you guess where their inhabitants are? The answer is the academia. They're executing another phase of the plan. The plan to install me as a sage. The collective consciousness links all of us into a single mind, showcasing our individual strengths as we work together. We are able to execute complex undertakings while instantaneously modifying our strategies in response to unexpected situations. Everything has been proceeding smoothly. You are our biggest obstacle. With you out of the way, I'll use my growing influence to turn the collective consciousness into a legitimate study. The project will snowball until ultimately everyone will be part of my hive. No. The hive will be in control, and it will lead the academia towards a new future.
We won't let you do this!
What can you achieve with mere words? You weren't even able to change Ilyas's mind. Return to the hive, number 36.
Yes.
Wait! Don't go back! Look! There are lots of people out there worried about you. And you aren't an outcast. Aren't we your friends?
That's easy for you to say, given that you're travelers. Will you two continue to stay at the academia? When you leave, tragedy will repeat itself. Return, number 36. You know as well as I do that comforting words don't make life any easier.
Ilyas? Why?
You two are just as arrogant as Alhaitham. You think that everyone should be like you and live according to their own truths. But you don't realize that most people simply want easy lives. I allowed number 36 to leave the hive without his memories only because I knew he would eventually return. This proves that I know more about human nature than you do. Alhaitham, do say a word or two. I will consider them as your last.
I made those words quite clear a year ago. The model you presented was extremely unstable. No amount of garish packaging will change its fragile nature. It can't be helped. If you were clever enough to realize those problems, then you would have been aware that the hive changed when Ilyas returned to this collective consciousness of yours.
What?
What's happening?
The collective needs motivation to execute its plans, just as machinery requires energy to operate. That's why you, as the Overmind, synchronized your hatred of me into the collective, prompting them to create and execute a plan to eliminate me. However, when Ilias returned to the collective, his memories and emotions were shared with the rest of its members. This includes his perception of me.
Thanks for that. You know, you don't seem like such a bad person. Strange, isn't it? Why did I have those thoughts at that time?
This contradicts the hatred you had provided them, and these two differing emotions will give rise to new conflict.
So that's it. Wait, so you knew that Ilias would return to the hive? And then you pretended to keep him around just to fool Siraj. Wouldn't expect any less from you, Alhaitham. Once the collective consciousness bugs out, we'll take that opportunity to... wait. It's back to normal already.
Alhaitham, I told you. You're too arrogant. Did you really think that your little scheme would be enough to destabilize the hive? Ilias's return had indeed introduced abnormal emotions into the hive, but such a meager drop cannot give rise to waves. Your struggle has been in vain, and it's time to end it. Allow me to show you what makes the collective consciousness so formidable.
So many monsters. Where did they come from? And something feels off about them.
I also integrated monsters into the collective, though I ranked them last. Even so, they are part of it. Despite their lack of intelligence, perfect cooperation can be achieved, much like soldiers who have undergone strict training. Now then, drown in endless waves of monsters. You will all pay for your ceaseless arrogance.
Hey, Alhaitham? Your plan didn't work, so what do we do now?
I've already sent my gift to the collective. It'll take some time for the recipient to receive it. You two just need to brace yourselves for the nuisance in front of us.
Well, alright. Paimon doesn't know how you get so confident, but we'll hold them off for as long as we can.
What have you done?
Calm down. Don't you have an easy way to figure this out? You were only designated as number 36. What a shame. From what I can see, your talents merit a smaller number. Putting aside the validity of the data, it is meaningless to judge individuals based solely on their jnana energy.
What you said to Ilias has now become a memory shared by all members of the Hive. I see it now! You've channeled and amplified their selfish desires! You're trying to destroy my Hive from the inside out!
Human minds are not infinitely pliable, and your Hive has stretched many of them to their limit. Once your authority as Overmind starts to wane, it won't be long before your subjects snap back. Is it worth living here like a machine? Being a tool for the rest of my life? As soon as one person begins to have these thoughts, selfishness, doubt, and fear will propagate, thanks to the web of consciousness that you built. At this stage, your so-called Hive has already fallen.
It's not over yet. I am the Overmind! There has to be a way!
It's too late. Once the desires of the Hive accumulate, beyond a certain threshold, they will kill their king.
I wouldn't have suffered such a disgraceful defeat if I was the Overmind.
My number shouldn't be so far down on the list! Siraj is a liar!
This isn't what we agreed to!
I should be the one in your position!
The hive shut down? What happened just now?
Members of a collective consciousness are more likely to reach a consensus because of their shared memories and emotions. For example, Ilias did have differing perceptions, but he ultimately followed the collective consciousness's judgment. However, this system is far from perfect. Based on this logic, the collective consciousness will generate an intractable diffusion effect upon encountering negative emotions. The disturbance that Ilias caused wasn't for naught. It made the collective question the Overmind.
Setbacks in the plan further amplify doubt, which diminishes the Overmind's influence. This inevitably causes the collective to generate negative emotions.
Apprehension, disappointment, panic, avarice. These negative emotions can be very well hidden, as humans generally do not share completely transparent channels of communication. But in the hive, where there are no secrets, negativity can spread like a tidal wave. Of course, what I said to Ilias was the trigger for all of this. A few words were enough. Believe in the power of words, Siraj.
You were already thinking of a way to destroy the collective consciousness. Even back then, you knew that Ilias was the bait all along. But how did you know? Since when?
I knew it from the moment I saw him. Moreover, I never looked down on you. My opinion of you has always been objective. You have a naive view towards the concepts of collective consciousness and human evolution, but you are intelligent and disciplined. You would never let a test subject escape. Mistakes like that are beneath you, and you also won't leave any mistake without a resolution.
I never thought I'd hear those words come from you. But if you're saying that out of sympathy, spare me. I know very well that you've never viewed me as an equal. When you were with us, you always had a distant look in your eyes. You don't need to hide it. I know it better than anyone else. The arrogance that comes with being a genius. Nobody likes being treated like that.
Your perspective is entirely born from your habitual way of looking at things. From your perspective, you probably think I'm like you, someone who doesn't fit in. However, I've never placed myself on a pedestal. I just want to distance myself from meaningless noise and look at everything objectively. On the other hand, you have failed to come to terms with who you truly are. You care too much about winning and how others perceive you.
You mean to say that I'm the arrogant one here?
Is that not so? Arrogant and emotionally fragile. You view people as a simple, mediocre collective, while you regard me as one of your kind.
Regardless, I have lost. You can take me back to the academia to stand trial.
You will stand trial, yes. But arresting people isn't in my job description. I'm just an ordinary staff member. I believe it is the General Mahamatra's duty to escort you away.
Sino? What are you doing here?
I followed the symbols. Looks like things have already been settled.
Symbols?
I left a similar picture in my letter to him, and I made several similar symbols on the way here.
Wait, what do you mean you left a letter? Oh, Paimon remembers! When Paimon first saw you, Arav said that you had left a letter for Sino. So you really did know that something was up with Ilias from the start! You lied to us too!
It'd be best if you didn't spout nonsense. I never employed any mode of trickery on you. By the way, I came across some information at the Academia a few days ago. If you practice the method discussed therein, your vision may improve. Do you need it?
Seriously? This guy. By the way, Sino, Paimon heard that Siraj sent more people to the Academia. We can't let those jerks get away!
Don't worry. The Matra have started screening suspicious persons, and we've already arrested many of Siraj's associates. This was likely one factor that caused the Hive's consciousness to waver. Everything went as you predicted, Al-Haytham.
Good. Seems like the interesting part is already over. I'll leave the arrests to you all. See you.
And off he goes. There still are a lot of test subjects here, so let's stick around for a while.
Get rid of the acting Grand Sage? What came over me? How could I do something like this?
We were accomplices without knowing it. But I'm afraid that Al-Haytham might pressure the Matra into giving us heavier sentences. Whether he's the scribe or the acting Grand Sage, we can't afford to offend him. It seems our future at the Academia will be full of uncertainties.
We can discuss the future later. Leaving the collective left me with a strange sense of guilt. I didn't feel anything towards Al-Haytham at first, since he wasn't well known. All the opinions I heard about him were negative, though. Siraj made us hate Al-Haytham, and we blindly accepted that hatred and thought of him as a bad person. From how things look, we've done a lot of irrational things.
I guess we're getting what we deserve. Could you help us apologize to Al-Haytham?
Sure, Paimon will help you tell Al-Haytham, but whether he chooses to forgive you is up to him.
It's okay. No matter what he chooses, apologizing will make us feel slightly better. If he chooses to remember this, we're prepared for our punishment.
It's time to go.
Let's go.
So, were they all duped? We can ask Al-Haytham about that later.
Looks like I can't exist as Siraj number 36. Yet, my life as Ilyas goes on. When I was at Gandharvaville, I thought about whether I should just come forward with the truth. But I didn't have the courage then. So in the end, I lost my sense of justice, but I also wasn't able to conform.
Ilyas?
Don't be sad. I'm the one who deceived you. However, I didn't come out of this completely empty-handed. The moment the hive collapsed, an idea popped into my head. I realized that the collective I was always trying to fit into wasn't as powerful as I had imagined. Understanding that gave me courage somehow. Perhaps one day I could be just like Al-Haytham and not care about what anyone else thinks.
You can do it. Paimon believes in you.
Thanks. Well, I should get going. I'm one of the primary suspects in the case, so I'll have to receive my due punishment. Can you keep this a secret from my parents and my sister? I just don't want them to worry. Also, please apologize to Al-Haytham for me. Goodbye, you two.
All the test subjects have been taken away. I'll have my subordinates seal the place, retrieve all documentation, and destroy the system. Are you two hurt? I brought bandages and hemostatics.
Paimon's fine. Just a little tired.
Get some rest. Al-Haytham is probably waiting for you at the entrance. Go see him when you're done here. Watch out for any of Siraj's associates who might still be in hiding. If you encounter anything you can't take care of, come find me at the Academia.
Okay, you stay safe too, Sino. Let's go meet up with Al-Haytham.
Settled. We can return now. I actually thought it would have been settled sooner. This took much longer than I expected. Judging by your faces, it seems like you two still have some questions. I respect your curiosity, but I'm off the clock now, so I'm not going to field any questions.
Hey, we're not your colleagues!
You couldn't tell that was an excuse just now?
What? Are you kidding me? You're not leaving today until you explain what happened back at Siraj's secret base!
See ya.
Hold it right there!
Are you done? Your behavior is reminding me of some other people.
Stop changing the subject!
It's too much of a hassle to explain everything from the top. You know what? Come with me.
Where to?
You'll know when we get there.
Is this your home?
Yes.
What's with you all of a sudden? Being all polite and inviting us over?
Ah, you're back. Quick, come help me see if this painting's all straightened. Huh? Who are they?
Stop making a fuss. They're obviously guests.
You're not from the academia, are you?
I'm unsure she's seen you before. You're that person from that time in that one place!
Wait, what? How do you know me? Oh no, do people know that I live here?
What? You're embarrassed only now of all times?
Oh, you guys are roommates!
Yes, we are, but keep that to yourselves. Please, don't tell anyone else.
I keep a few books on collectives and the subconscious here at home. I'll get them. You all chat in the meantime.
Hey!
Hey! You're leaving just like that? What's the deal, Alhaitham? Sorry, I know we've only just met, but I have to ask. Are you, you wouldn't happen to be actors that Alhaitham hired to pretend to be his friends, would you?
What?
Guess not. I've never seen him invite friends home before, so please excuse my surprise. You guys get it, right? You know, with his temperament and stuff.
But aren't you friends with him?
I wouldn't say friends exactly. Okay, well, we used to be, but we're not anymore.
Huh?
Don't worry about it. My name is Kaveh. I'm sorry to have met you under these circumstances. Anyway, please don't say anything about me living here.
You seem like you got a lot going on. So maybe Samora will make Paimon shut up.
Are you serious? How could you? Of course. You're Alhaitham's friends.
What? That was a normal response. You exposed your own weakness.
Still, why do you have to treat me like he does?
Judging by the deafening din coming from the living room, you all must be getting along quite well.
Entertain your own friends, why don't you?
I'll leave the books here.
Paimon's dizzy from reading. This is way too complicated. Why don't we just ask questions instead? Paimon wants to know, how did you know about the collective consciousness's weakness?
A year ago, Siraj presented his thesis to the Grand Sage, who offhandedly asked for my opinion. I actually responded with 2 lines of reasoning. The first, as I've already said, was that his research was on human evolution, a subject prohibited by the academia. The second was that I thought the direction of his research was too extreme, but his approach too conservative.
Wait, that's too conservative? He built such a large lab, gathered all those people, and even tried to get rid of you!
One way to stabilize a collective consciousness is to remove the test subject's humanity altogether. The optimal solution to achieve collective consciousness is to focus solely on the overmind and treat the other test subjects as tools.
That's way too dangerous! You're not seriously considering that, are you? 'Cause, whew.
I'm merely stating the facts. If Siraj had done that, I would have felt his work to be just as senseless. It's impossible for any species to evolve overnight, and humans without their humanity cannot be called humans. That's why the academia prohibited research into human evolution. Most research of this kind tends to run contrary to evolution.
Huh. Paimon gets it now.
Ha! That's rich coming from you. If humans aren't humans without their humanity, then you'll probably evolve into some other species in another decade, I wager.
What about you? Are you going to devolve into a fungus?
At least I'd be a fungus with empathy. Sorry for eavesdropping, but what happened to you guys? Are you in trouble?
Sort of. We encountered a strange researcher that had it out for us.
Are you all okay? Huh. So that's how things went. Such is life. If only he'd known, Alhaitham could have stayed indoors today, and the whole thing could have been avoided, right? Plus, he could have helped me with the housework for once. See those books? They've been sitting there waiting for someone to sort through them for an age. If you're not gonna read them, tidy them away. They don't belong there.
Can you feel the awkwardness in the air? I hope you're aware of your lack of conversational skills.
Oh, so the pot's calling the kettle black, is he? Well, having said all that, are you okay?
I'm doing quite well. Much better than that painting you're trying to hang on the wall.
You don't understand anything. Stop criticizing my taste in decoration.
Paimon can't tell which of them is more problematic. Let's just get this over with and leave.
You whisper very loudly.
Oh, yeah, Paimon's been told that.
Do you have any more questions?
Let Paimon think. Oh, by the way, the other researchers apologized to you. They hope that you can forgive them.
I bear them no ill will. More accurately, I don't really care about what they think of me. To some extent, they were also fooled by Siraj. The Matra will take this into account at their trials.
Ilias also said that he wanted to tell us the truth at Gandharvaville, but he didn't have the courage. He apologized to you, too.
It doesn't matter. I never considered asking him to come forward with the truth. Judging from his experiences, he's more courageous than the average person. There's no need to lay even more criticism on him. Criticizing the brave only shows how weak you yourself are. I'm going for dinner in 10 minutes, so I'll field one last question.
Paimon doesn't have any more questions. How about you? Oh, yeah, that's a good question. You only started investigating with the Matra at the Academia because you were interested in something, right? But after meeting Siraj, it didn't seem like you were interested in him or his experiment.
I had no interest in him personally, but I was curious as to why so many people were willing to form a collective consciousness with him. I now understand the reason. Correct. The fall of the sages and the shutdown of the Akasha terminals deeply affected the academia. The fact that Siraj's project attracted so much interest despite not being approved speaks to the lack of research projects as of late. As the acting Grand Sage, I'll have to figure something out. In addition, what happened to Ilias is worth our attention. Reporting academic fraud was the right thing to do. He didn't deserve the outcome that he had received.
Paimon understands now. Oh, you're pretty serious when it comes to work, huh?
I think minimum viable seriousness is a more apt description. I'll do my best to take care of this mess until my resignation is approved.
Wait, your resignation?
Yes. I've already submitted my resignation to the Academia. Soon, I'll resign as the acting Grand Sage and go back to being its scribe. I don't think Siraj knew about that. If he had waited just a few more days before acting, I would have already resigned. What he'd do then wouldn't have been any concern of mine. However, even without my input, his unstable model would have collapsed for some other reason, so it makes no difference.
But why do you want to resign?
I'm not suited to be a sage, nor do I want to be one. The official process to select the new sages is already underway, but this process is long and takes far too much time. If I serve as acting Grand Sage for too long, the position might become permanent. That would be troublesome. This job isn't something I want to spend the rest of my life doing. It's important to keep your priorities straight. Well, it's about time. You two should grab some dinner as well.
Oh, now that you say that, Paimon's kinda hungry. See ya! We're gonna grab some yummies!
See ya. He isn't someone who would leave an impression, so it's expected that you don't remember him.
I've always had a hard time appreciating the way that the Academia pressures people by labeling them as geniuses. But even so, the Academia can't be left to you. Or perhaps I should say that I'm delighted to see that you have a base amount of self-awareness. If the people in the Academia haven't gone mad, they'd know that I'm much more suited to be a sage than you.
And I suppose they'd let everyone know that your career as a sage will be as shaky as that painting.
Again, that's mighty rich coming from someone about to resign. In a few days, you'll be managing files again. You'll be back at rock bottom.
But my salary will likely stay the same.
Wait, what? How come? Why do you get special treatment?
At least I don't have to be an architectural designer who works himself to death just to get a smile from his client.
You... I took time out of my day to clean the living room for you, and this is the thanks I get for it? I'd have been better off catching up on my work. I still have designs to finish.
Make sure to pay back the rent you owe me. I'm going to buy some furniture with that, Mora.
What? Are you trying to annoy me to death? The decorations you buy keep getting uglier and uglier. What's the point of having a boring wood carving in your house?
You'll have to blame that on my financial freedom.
Fine. Go ahead and hide behind your financial success if you want. But if we forget Mora for a second, do you have anything of true value to boast about?
I think I'd have too many choices, to be honest. You, on the other hand, can you think of any redeeming features at all?
Artistry, for sure. You don't know the first thing about interior design. Don't go off buying random furniture unless you take me with you.
So I'll have to bring you along and then buy you drinks?
Of course.
But why would I do that? It would just be another form of a loan, and you'd have to pay me back eventually.
Can't you just be nice and not ask for the Mora back?
Pretending that you're not in debt is as ridiculous as pretending you're not living in someone else's home. Word will get out sooner or later.
Speaking of which, your friends won't say anything, right? Tell them to keep all this a secret.
There's no need to hide it so carefully. I think the truth's already out. You're such a lightweight that a few drinks at the tavern had you spilling all your beans.
What? No, it can't be.
Find anything?
No, nothing in particular.
It's possible there weren't many knowledge capsules containing info about the Court of Desolation, so they carried those off. But don't worry. I have another idea. You two start heading back the way we came. I will remain hidden here. Come back and meet me here after some time has passed. I'm sure something will come up by then. They packed up in a hurry and didn't have time to carry off all their goods. They won't just leave them here. Once they think we've left the premises, they'll be back to pick up their belongings. We just need to make sure the tracker goes far enough from here to make them assume that it's safe to come back.
Oh, Paimon gets it! We'll lure them out because they'll think we've left! Okay, we'll start heading away and leave this place to you.
Yes, and don't worry. If they dare to return, I'll make sure they stay.
Ugh, so tired. We've probably gone far enough now, right? Oh, yay. Let's rest for a little while before we go back to find Sino. It's probably about time for us to head back to the auction. Let's go. Maybe Sino's finally found some leads. Oh, looks like Sino caught someone! So you're the bad guy behind all this, aren't ya? Alright, tell Paimon everything you know!
I didn't act immediately when he showed up. Rather, I laid low and observed for a while instead. He is not the primary instigator, but he is most likely one of the more important dealers here. Am I right?
Yes, impressive. You certainly live up to your reputation, Sino. If I had any idea you were still around, I wouldn't have gotten so greedy.
Huh? Greedy? What do you mean by that?
Once everyone knew you were coming, all the canned knowledge dealers abandoned their goods and fled at once. Obviously, there wasn't time to pack up everything. Since all the goods were just left here unsupervised, I thought I'd use the opportunity to come back and take what I could. You know, free merchandise is good business, but I suppose there's no use explaining it now.
You must know who's manufacturing and selling the canned knowledge, correct? Will you tell us willingly? Or do I need to make you talk?
No, I'll talk. But before that, perhaps we can take the conversation elsewhere? If we stay here, chances are that someone will see me with you. That would put both me and my family in danger.
All right. Where do you suggest we go?
How about my home in Aru Village? It should be safe there.
Fine. Let's head out. You can throw away the tracker now, Traveler.
Dad, you're back! Oh, we have guests? Hi there.
This is my daughter, Seemin. She can be a little shy of strangers. Why don't you run along now, dear? Dad needs to talk with our guests.
Oh, okay.
Everyone knows Sino in our business, but let me ask, who are you two?
Paimon is Paimon, and this is the Traveler!
To be honest, I really didn't expect to see Sino, the lone operator, working with any partners. When I saw the tracker start moving away, I assumed you had decided to just go back empty-handed. But even though you caught me, I'd still urge you to stop while you still can. You should abandon this investigation.
Why is that?
Everything from the manufacturing of canned knowledge to the sales and even splitting the profits. Every step of the process involves dozens, if not hundreds of people. Massive profits have brought everyone together in this business. Everyone will try their best to defend this industry that we've worked to build. It will be a long and difficult fight, even for you, Sino. And even if you manage to win in the end, no one will thank you. If anything, you yourself might even feel remorse. Why are you so bent on putting us out of business?
Everyone has their own reasons for what they do. I don't have to explain mine.
Here's some tea, Dad. And for the guests, too.
Right. I forgot to offer tea to our guests. Thank you.
Don't mention it. And, I should tell you that our tea tastes kind of bitter, but I put some sugar in to make it a little tastier.
That's my girl. Do we still have any sugar left? If not, I'll buy some more next time.
Yes, we do. Okay. I'm gonna go have a rest now.
Didn't you say that everyone's in it for the massive profits? That sure doesn't seem to be the case for you.
Actually, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I was hoping to ask you for a favor. My daughter was born with a chronic disease, so she has a relatively weak heart and lungs. Even slightly strenuous exercise can cause her to faint and prove to be a life-threatening risk. That's why she never really had any friends to play with, and why she locks herself up in her room most of the time. She has to take lots of medicine, and it doesn't come cheap. As for me, I was just an average merchant. I would wake up early and travel all around to make a profit. But the Mora was still nowhere near enough. I could only watch my daughter's health deteriorate day by day. Until one day, someone reached out and showed me a way to really make a profit.
Selling canned knowledge?
That's right. With all the Mora I made, I could finally afford medical treatment for my daughter. Nothing made me happier than seeing her get better. There are many others like me. Smuggling canned knowledge might seem like an unforgivable crime to you, but to us, it's a means of survival. I wanted to tell you all this so that maybe you could understand and change your mind. Please, stay out of this, Sino. Give us a way to survive.
Oh no. That means that if we prevent the sale of canned knowledge, his daughter will...
I must get to the truth. I can find someone to help treat your child, but I cannot turn a blind eye to the smuggling. These are two completely different issues.
I somehow knew you would say that. But having your word to help my daughter is enough for me. Since you insist on continuing the investigation, you should have a look around the back of my home. You'll find some goods I received just recently. I think everything will become clear to you once you see them.
Whoa! Look at all of this!
Yes. All neatly packed away and organized in boxes. To think that this is only one dealer's worth. Small producers couldn't possibly support such a large quantity of goods. Could the academia have a hand in this? But such a volume of goods wouldn't be able to slip through inspection.
Huh? Look! These seem different from the other knowledge capsules we've seen. Maybe they contain knowledge about the Court of Desolation.
Yes, that would make sense. Wait, what's this? Yes, it's a Matra seal, indicating that the goods have passed Matra inspection. I started to suspect that someone in the academia might be involved when I found the tracker earlier. But how they could ship so much canned knowledge out of the academia was still a mystery. The pieces have now all fallen into place. With this Matra seal, goods can leave the academia without undergoing a second inspection. No wonder they don't want me to investigate. It turns out that a Matra is behind this. Even I find it hard to believe. Could I ask you for a favor, Traveler? Since all this canned knowledge came from the academia, then it's highly likely that the knowledge regarding the Court of Desolation originated from research files stored within the academia. If we can enter the repository, we can find out who accessed these files. But considering my current status. If I suddenly show up at the Academia now, it will only draw unnecessary attention. You'll need to be the one who checks the records. I'll write a letter to Nabil, and he'll take you there.
Sure thing! Leave it to us!
I'll also keep working here in the meantime. Although our leads are all currently pointing to someone within the Academia, it's obvious that they also have power outside of it. We can get more information on other dealers from Bahari. I'll stay here and make some preparations. You can come find me anytime if you uncover more info.
Hello, we meet again. Have you managed to find Sino? If so, how's he doing? I read the letter, and must admit that I hadn't expected things to be so serious. Sorry. Had I known it would be so dangerous, I never would have gotten you two involved.
It's alright. We wanted to help Sino too.
I can tell that he really trusts you. The research files stored away in the restricted repository are far from ordinary. Everything there is essentially about dangerous research that's forbidden by the Academia. Even I don't usually have authorization to enter, but with this letter from Sino, it shouldn't be a problem. That's right. Granted, the Academia is very supportive when it comes to research. They encourage scholars to conduct all kinds of studies. However, some forms of research have proven to be so dangerous that the Matra have to step in and put a stop to them. Normally, after some particular research becomes prohibited, the majority of the related files will be destroyed. But some information may be retained as a record to warn later researchers. Such information is kept in the restricted repository, which is heavily guarded. Follow me. I'll show you. Hopefully, we'll find the answers that Sino is looking for.
The restricted repository. Sounds kinda dangerous. We'd better keep an eye out.
Okay, I understand. Since Sino is vouching for you, I suppose we can trust you. You may browse the information regarding the Court of Desolation. Ask me if you have any questions. But I'd suggest avoiding any other research files. Sometimes the less you know, the better.
So this is the restricted repository. I never thought I'd see the inside of it. This is a first for both you and me.
There are many who do not openly converse with others within the Academia. But even so, there are very few who I feel could be trusted with a real secret. Sino happens to be one of them. Even though he's no longer in the Academia, I still trust him. And that goes for anyone he trusts as well. The files are over there. Just make it quick.
Whoa, there's a lot to read here. Have you found anything yet? Huh, it reminds Paimon of Sino's former partner.
His former partner? That would be Taj Radkani. But you're not far off. Mortada Radkani was Taj's only son.
What? Taj's son went to prison for researching the Court of Desolation?
Why do you sound so surprised? You're a Matra, aren't you?
It's just that they arrested him in secret, so it was never publicly known. All I knew was that Taj's son was taken to prison. It's not just me. I bet even Sino didn't know about it.
No. Unfortunately, there isn't. He took his own life not long after he went to prison. You've heard about Taj, right? I know Nabil has. Every Matra knows him. I would say he's probably pushing 50 this year, which makes him one of the most experienced Matra. He is a man of integrity and honesty, and has made countless achievements. His reputation goes back a long way now. He used to be Sino's only partner. Taj is also skilled with the polearm, so the two of them used to practice together when they weren't out on a mission.
Ah, right. I heard Sino mention that before. But one day, Taj suddenly decided to retire from active duty and transfer to an administrative position. I wonder if it had anything to do with the Mortada incident.
Taj was already very well known by the time Mortada was born. So when Mortada came to study at the Academia, everyone had high expectations of him. He had to face a lot of pressure. Then he had an unpleasant dispute with his father, but they were eventually able to work things out. Not long after they had reconciled, Mortada was caught studying the Court of Desolation, which is in violation of Academia rules. Taj arrested his son and put him behind bars. He begged for leniency, but Taj wouldn't agree. Shortly after, Mortada slit his own throat with the pieces of a broken bowl. By the time Taj arrived at the scene, it was already too late. He never had a last chance to see his son. Since then, Taj has been periodically coming to the repository. He'll hold the files from his son's research with a remorseful look on his face. I guess that's why he chose to move to administrative work.
I had no idea that happened. That must be really hard for Taj. I've never heard him mention that to anyone.
That's awful. Paimon feels terrible now. Are you okay, Traveler?
Wait, don't tell me you're starting to suspect Taj now. Impossible. Taj would never do that. I mean, yes, he does have a big reputation and has access to such research, but this is Taj we're talking about. He would never do anything against regulations. Never.
But if you claim that the canned knowledge was originating from the Academia, then Taj is indeed a suspect. Because he was the only one who could have recently gone through research files about the Court of Desolation. There are so many files about those ruins that it would be difficult to restart any research, since the 7 original researchers were put behind bars. It's hard enough just trying to make sense of these files. However, if the files were made into canned knowledge, they could be understood immediately. By doing so, one could restart the research outside the Academia without anyone ever noticing.
But even so...
According to the legends, the treasures inside the Court of Desolation could allow someone to see beyond life and death, or even bring the dead back to life, right? So maybe Taj is trying to bring Mortada back. Though I don't really believe Taj would ever try to do something like that. I'm just telling you what I know. It's the job of the Matra to find the truth and track down criminals. Do you have any questions? If not, it'd be best if you would leave now.
Paimon's kinda confused. What should we do from here?
Oh, now that I think about it, Sino suspected that the canned knowledge was coming from within the Academia, right? There's no way so many boxes could ever get through without drawing any attention. Maybe we could try asking people around the gate of the Academia and see what we can find. Don't worry, Tosh. I won't let your reputation be tarnished.
Alrighty then, let's go ask around.
Large shipments of goods leaving the Academia recently.
Huh. Well, yes, but isn't that pretty normal? The Academia consumes so many resources each day, everything from cooking ingredients, raw materials, even equipment for experiments. It's normal for goods to be coming in and out.
Right, but we're looking for shipments with a Matra seal. Have you seen any like that?
That I'm not too sure of. I normally wouldn't notice whether the goods have any seals or not. Maybe you should ask someone else.
Excuse me, have you seen any large shipments of goods leaving the Academia recently?
No, not that I'm aware of. Perhaps you could ask someone else?
Excuse me, have you seen any large shipments of goods leaving the Academia recently?
Huh? Why do you ask?
I'm just checking to ensure nothing unusual has happened.
Well, I can't say it's unusual, but I did notice something. There's a Kashar researcher who's been making frequent shipments recently. Dozen of large boxes each time, if not more. When I asked him about it, he said they just contained a bunch of old worn-out machines. The Kashar used to often sell scrap machines to traveling merchants, so I didn't really think anything of it. But he's been making a lot of shipments lately. There weren't ever so many outdated machines before.
And you didn't find that suspicious? Why didn't you report it for inspection?
Well, the boxes were stamped with the Matra seal. Why should I bother? Of course, I did start to wonder about the seal once, thinking that maybe they forged it or something. But you know what happened? A man named Taj came here and told me that he'd already inspected the goods personally and ordered me to leave the researcher alone. I couldn't question his word, could I?
Impossible. There must be some sort of mistake. There's no way Taj would ever... No, I won't believe it. Taj is an honorable man. Someone must be trying to frame him. Wait, I know another Matra who works with Taj. I can ask him to let us speak with Taj.
As I've already told you, I don't have any way to contact Taj. A few Eremites showed up looking for Taj yesterday, and he met with them in his office. I was standing outside of the door, and I vaguely heard them say, "Found it." Before I realized it, the door opened, and Taj left with the group of them. I noticed that he had also changed into Eremite attire. But Taj didn't come to work today, so I've also started to feel a little concerned about the whole thing. If you'd like to speak with him, maybe you can try visiting his home. He lives just on the outskirts of Sumeru City.
A group of Eremites? Could Taj really be the one making all the canned knowledge?
No way. Taj is just like Sino. They're considered heroes among the Matra. There's no way that he would... Fine. Looks like there's no other choice.
Hey, don't let it get to you just yet. We'll get to the bottom of this once and for all.
This is Taj's place. There doesn't seem to be anyone here.
Well, what should we do then? Do we break in?
No. Wait, the door's unlocked. Did Taj leave in a hurry? Well, anyway, we're still not sure if he's the real culprit. Probably not a good idea to go in without permission. You're right. Even if we apply for a warrant now, we won't be able to do anything until tomorrow at the earliest. This is an emergency. I just hope Taj doesn't mind. What's this?
It's a paper full of names written on it. Oh, and a map. Nabil, can you make any sense of this?
Yes. This is definitely Taj's handwriting. These papers look like records. These are the transactions between Taj and some other people. From the look of the numbers, the scale of this smuggling case is absolutely massive. The whole operation involves more than 300 people, including dozens of celebrities. These are famous scholars, merchants, mercenaries. I have a feeling that Sino might be unaware of what he's up against. There's no way anyone could face such a large organization on their own. You're right, that's just who he is. As for the map, it appears to indicate the location of the Court of Desolation. Let's take it to Sino and let him decide how to proceed. If Taj really has turned on his honor and committed these terrible acts, then I suspect that he might already be at the Court of Desolation as we speak. I don't want to suspect him, but I also don't know him very well. Maybe Sino will know what to do.
All right, we'll give these to Sino Sino and see. Let's go! Well, Sino, what do you make of it?
Taj. It's been a while since I last saw him. From what I remember, he is a straight-laced man. Although he would resort to extreme measures from time to time. He would never do anything against his beliefs.
So do you think he's the one behind all this?
I'm still not sure. I cannot imagine how devastating the incident with Mortada was for him. Nor can I deny the possibility that people can change. Whether it's out of love for his son or for other reasons, we have to see for ourselves to judge him. Or rather, the person he's become. That's right. It's clear that he had a hand in this case, yet he made no report of it. There's no doubting that. That's also why I need to see him. I must ask his reasoning and judge him myself. Time is ticking. Let's go.
Ah, Sino. It's been some time since I've seen you last. I trust you are doing well. Seeing that you've made it all the way here, you must be on the cusp of wrapping up your investigation, I presume. Even faster than I expected. Is it because you have some new partners now?
That's right. This case is nearly closed. But the most important answer still eludes me. Was it all your doing? Smuggling the canned knowledge? The research of the Court of Desolation?
Yes, it was me.
Then explain why.
That's the difficult part. Let's just say I've changed. I've become a selfish coward who only wants to pursue his own interests.
I find that hard to believe.
Oh, really? Way I see it, every person will end up like me sooner or later. When you're young, you press forward, unattached, living solely for the justice in your heart. But as you begin to age, you start to become more cautious. You know many things are wrong, but still turn a blind eye to them. I was the same. I never questioned my actions until Mortada died. I could feel the justice that I once strived to uphold slowly crumbling in my heart. I was completely dedicated to all that I did, but as I grew older, I found myself feeling alone, miserable. Can you imagine what it feels like to not have the will to live, but not be able to die? Mortada was sent to prison by my own hands. I set myself on this painful path. My son hated me till the day he died, and now I must live with that pain and regret. I failed him as a father. But now I have a chance to make it right. A chance to reunite with him. The Court of Desolation. Here lies the key to overcoming life and death. The power to even bring the dead back to life.
So, did you already find what you needed here?
See this door behind me? Behind it lies the treasures that I seek. I'm so close, Sino. If only you hadn't arrived now, I could already have...
Enough conjecture. What has happened is already part of the past. You cannot bring the dead back to life. In the end, the treasures you seek are nothing but myths and legend.
Since you're so sure, why don't you just let me open the door and see then?
No. I sense danger behind that door. There will be dire consequences the moment you open it.
I beg you, as an old partner, can you let me fulfill my last wish just this once? Surely you get it by now. Doing your job without mercy will only drive people away from you. I'm the prime example.
I don't overthink things. If there is only one way for me to defend my principles, then that is the path I will take.
Seems there's no convincing you. All right then. Let's see if your polearm skills have improved at all.
Your strength.
You feel it, don't you? I'm stronger than you remember. I gained new power when I entered the Court of Desolation. This is only a taste of it. Once I open the door behind me, this power will be complete. Even life and death will have no grip on me.
Uh-oh. We have to stop this guy!
I won't let you open that door.
I wouldn't be so sure. I'm afraid it won't be easy to stop me now that you're injured. Or are you ready to sacrifice your life for this?
I'll do what I have to.
I still remember when we first became partners. You were always charging forward and putting your life on the line, just like now. Even after all this time, you still haven't changed.
You haven't changed either. You left that list of names and map in your house on purpose, didn't you? You wanted me to be able to find you here. All of this was just part of the act you were putting on. What happened just now was also part of your plan. You might have fooled those on the list, but you will not fool me. I had my suspicions from the beginning, but I couldn't be sure until we fought. If he really had changed, your fighting style wouldn't be as it was before.
Huh? What do you mean, Sino?
He never planned on opening the door. His true intention was...
What's happening?
Seems our time is running short. Let me make this quick then. After Mortada died, my spirit was crushed. For a long time, I was hoping this reality was just some terrible nightmare. I hoped I would just wake up and be able to see his smiling face again. That is when I was approached by someone who wished to collaborate and find the Court of Desolation together. I did some investigation of my own and discovered they were part of a massive organization. People from every walk of life are involved. They are relentless in their search, pouring countless mora into secret research, even sacrificing lives, in hopes that the Court of Desolation would appear.
No wonder banning the research wasn't enough. A full-scale operation was already in motion.
I'm a flesh and blood human like anyone else, so I obviously hesitated and considered it. The thought of bringing my son back tugged at my heart, but in the end, I came to my senses. I knew that I could not let myself go down that path. I suddenly came to a realization amidst my suffering. The Court of Desolation, a place that once drove people to tragedy, was still doing so, even centuries later. As long as this place exists, people will recklessly seek it out, just as Mortada did, generation after generation, regardless of the cost. Let it be buried beneath the sand forever. Once the Court of Desolation is gone, there will no longer be anyone obsessed with seeking it out. That's right. I acted as if I had abandoned my convictions just so that they would cooperate without raising any suspicion. This was the only way I could find and destroy this place. But that wasn't enough. I needed someone I could trust to bring the organization to justice. The academia forbids the research of the Court of Desolation, so they would never approve my plan in the first place. To add to the problem, the organization is so powerful that they even have members working within the academia. If I wished to destroy the organization, I couldn't just count on the academia alone.
So, you pretended to be the one behind all this, as a test for me.
Yes. I'm sorry, but now I am assured. You haven't changed at all. You are still as you always were, fearless, and making no compromise. Anyway, this place is collapsing. You must leave now.
Wait! Aren't you leaving too? There are still loads of bad guys to catch outside!
His fate is already sealed. There is no life left inside him. He is like a candle with no more wick to burn. You planned it all from the very beginning, didn't you? Risking being treated as a traitor to collaborate with them. Sacrificing your own life to open and destroy the Court of Desolation.
Regardless, I made a grave mistake by allowing the smuggling and the research of this place. Let this be the final judgment on myself. I was always so busy with work that I never made time to fulfill Mortada's wishes. Finding this place was his biggest wish. Since I'll be reuniting with him here, I can only hope he won't have anything more to hold against me. I'll leave all those people on the list to you. Sorry for all the trouble I've caused.
There's nothing to be sorry for. We are partners. If you see Mortada, send him my greetings. Goodbye, old friend.
Dad, why are they so strict with me? I'm always the only one who gets in trouble.
Just leave me alone! Don't worry, I won't damage your precious reputation.
Alright, Dad. Let's start over. By the way, I finally found an area of research I wish to pursue. Why can't you show even a little leniency? Why?
Because we are Matra.
Huh? The Court of Desolation has...
Just as Taj said, that place had caused too many disasters and tragedies. Being buried in quicksand is its rightful end. To them, as long as there's more to be made, they will disregard the Academia's rules, whether it's the Court of Desolation or anything else. Their only goal is to make massive profits off of dangerous research. Taj may have set them back with the Court of Desolation, but it won't be long before they continue searching for another target. That's an opportunity that I will not let them have.
We'll help too.
Thank you, but you've already done enough. Just leave the rest to me. I will bring them to justice myself. Besides, I promised you that I would sweep away any potential danger. So, that's what I'm going to do. Wait for me at Caravan Rebob 4 days from now.
Thank you so much for all your help.
Nabil, what are you doing here?
Convicts from the desert are being escorted through Caravan Rebob, so I'm here to keep an eye on things. This should be the last group of them, so I'll be heading back to the Academia once they're cleared. The last few days have been quite the ride, but fortunately, I can say with confidence that this case is finally coming to an end. At first, the mercenary groups on the list were putting up quite a fight. They made several desperate attempts to cover up the truth. However, Sino crossed the desert and took out their main camp overnight. After that, people on the list started to put pressure on the higher-ups within the Academia. Everyone was on edge, and the case came to a standstill.
And? Then what happened?
Well, then we received word that Taj Radkani had sacrificed himself on the case. The news really stirred up the members of our ranks. The Matra then moved together against the enemy. We cleared out the traitors from within the Academia and arrested all the researchers on the list. Some of them managed to get out of the Academia, but still failed to escape. The scattered criminals were captured by Sino all across Sumeru. I even heard that someone was about to escape to Fontaine, but was still apprehended just at the border. Having more than 300 prisoners apprehended for interrogation has definitely shaken things up recently.
Is Sino alright? He didn't get injured, did he?
He seems fine, but nobody knows the real situation. He brought over 300 suspects to judgment all on his own. Among them were even some of our former colleagues. Not just the criminals are afraid of him. Even we start feeling a little nervous when he's around now. But even if we start feeling all self-conscious, thinking if we've done anything wrong, we're still always honored to have Sino around. By the way, are you guys here to see Sino? I think I just saw him walking in that direction when I was on watch nearby. He was walking with someone I didn't recognize, and then before I knew it, they were nowhere to be seen. If you happen to see him, please send my regards.
Sure thing, Nabil. You be careful too. Don't let any of those bad guys escape.
Don't worry about me. If anything happens, you can find me at the Academia anytime. Farewell then.
Bring 300 people to justice must feel pretty exhilarating, but I can assure you this is certainly not the best solution.
I'm aware. However, I learned something unexpected during interrogation. Apparently, someone had enticed Murtada Radkani into becoming interested in researching the Court of Desolation. Murtada had lived in his father's shadow all his life. Naturally, he wanted to conduct research that would seem groundbreaking and significant. After Murtada died, the organization tried to use Taj's shame regarding his son to add him to their ranks, toying with others' minds, treating lives like dirt, and doing anything for their own interests. This makes me angry.
Fine, I understand. This is a type of trap I've been working on which uses plants. Here, take some just in case you need them next time. If thrown into the mud, the trap will grow rapidly and disperse a pollen that has a paralyzing effect. I don't have much use for the traps these days, but maybe you will, and can help me collect more testing data.
Sino! Tainari! Oh, so Tainari must be who Nabil saw earlier. Are you also here to see Sino?
That's right. Sino asked me to collect some medicinal herbs to treat a girl named Semin. I also dropped by just to check for any injuries. He seems to be fine physically, but he looks a little more lonely than I remember. And Sino, relax. You don't always have to look so serious, you know. Why don't you play more Genius Invocation TCG, huh? Kale has always been a little wary of you, and your stern expression certainly isn't helping.
How is Kale these days?
She's grown a bit taller, but her grades could use some improvement. She still made many mistakes on her last test, even after I had marked all the important content in the book for her. After some time, I plan on having her go outside more. It just so happens that I have something she can help me with.
Huh? You mean Kale is leaving Avidia Forest? What happened?
Well, I've asked her to host some ad hoc lectures to teach the dangers of canned knowledge, as well as how to use it safely. Although we've apprehended all the criminals behind the recent smuggling case, there are many people who are still curious and seek canned knowledge. So, I decided to ask her to work on increasing knowledge and awareness on the topic. Please be sure to keep an eye on her.
I will.
If anything else happens, the three of you can find me in the Avidia Forest. Take care.
I've already caught those who were preparing to attack you in secret. Even if some criminals did slip through our fingers, they wouldn't know that you were involved in the case. So you can relax.
But what about you, Sino?
It's still not time for me to rest yet. Those who died have fulfilled their wishes, but those who are alive must continue pressing forward. I've been thinking about what Taj said in the Court of Desolation these last few days. His words were not empty. People do change, and no belief can completely resist the erosion of time. I just hope my own change will come slowly, so that I can press on a little further. That way, those who see me as their superior, and those who are following in my footsteps, will learn courage from my example, just as I gained courage from my own superiors, and my partner. I'll be fine. I'm also enjoying my chat with you right now, you know. There are many things I feel better about once I start to talk about them. Many people want to go to the desert to offer condolences for Taj, but I didn't share details with anyone. I'd prefer to avoid revealing the location of the Court of Desolation. One day, I'll gather some flowers that grow in arid desert conditions. And then, I was hoping you'd join me in planting them on the remains of the Court of Desolation.
The plants here are really different. Leyline energies are also stronger here. This may be the place we've been looking for. Ready yourselves? We're going in. Leyline energy is spilling out from here. This device, it's extracting energy from the ley lines without end. Who in the world would do this without considering the consequences? The ley lines won't be able to repair themselves if their flow is perpetually disrupted like this.
That's terrible! We have to stop it! Let Paimon see. Paimon doesn't see controls anywhere!
Standing here is equivalent to being directly showered in leyline energy, which may cause irreversible damage to your body. Take Paimon and get out of here. I'll see if I can find a way to turn this thing off.
Wait! You're also vulnerable to the ley lines, right? We're staying! We can't leave you here by yourself!
Then let's look for it together. If there's no control unit here, then there must be a trap door somewhere.
You know where it is? Hey! Wait for us! Are you the one that's taking the ley line's energy? Turn off that machine now! Why aren't you saying anything? Too ashamed?
His body is cold. It's emaciated, and his eyes are sunken, likely from chronic malnourishment and stress. He collapsed and never got back up. What exactly happened here? Almost forgot about you. Here. This is the last one.
What is it doing?
I'm not sure. Judging by this room's layout, this place was a laboratory. We should find a repository of research documents if we keep going. The file room will definitely give us some clues, so let's go take a look. Maybe we can piece together what happened here.
Find anything?
There are a lot of lab notes, but it would take way too long to read through them all. I found a tape recording used for an experiment, and based on its serial number, it's from 2 years ago.
Tape recording?
Yes. The Spontamod created a device that visually records experiments and consolidates the final production into a tape. However, these devices are expensive to make and aren't entirely stable. That's why they are only used in some laboratories and do not see wider usage.
Come on, let's watch it.
Hold on, let me figure out how to play the tape. Okay, this should do it.
Kakata? Kakata? Seriously, I look away for 1 second and you're gone? There you are. Look here. This is our new home. I, Abatui, will unleash my talents here and amaze those ancient fossils at the Academia. Oh, you're also quite happy. Kakata, do you know what we're about to do? Yes, I thought not. Listen up, Kakata. I'm going to make a mechanical life form that can be mass-produced. The technology will be unlike anything else that exists. I'll use mechanical organs, and electric currents will course through them like blood. A steel-cast heart that will beat forever, and a brain of myriad components that can think like mine. Inspiration from the ruins and the research that the Academia had banned. I hope everything can start anew from this place. When you can understand our language and live among us, you will no longer be a boring machine, but a truly living being. It's fine. You will understand. One day, you will understand me.
Karkata is the mechanical crab, right? And that researcher named Abatui said he wanted to prove something to the Academia?
I remember now. I had a junior researcher named Abatui. He was expelled from the Academia for researching mechanical life forms.
Junior researcher?
Yeah? What's wrong?
Nothing. Paimon was just wondering, doesn't Abatui look older than you?
He is, but academic progression isn't tied to age. I finished my studies a while ago, so subsequent students generally considered me as their senior.
Oh!
Of course, age can be an issue. For a while, people, always dragged me into pictures. I felt like some kind of animal on display. That isn't important. Let's go and see if we can find other tape recordings.
Paimon found another tape! A date is written on it. Let Paimon see. Oh, it's from half a year ago!
That's quite the time gap. I wonder what happened in between.
It's rare that you malfunction because of an operational error. Seems that making coffee is still somewhat difficult for you. Or is there an issue with my set parameters? All right, there you go. Water entered the chela and caused it to short-circuit, so it couldn't receive signals from the ganglion. Look at me, talking to you like this. You can't understand me anyway, can you? It's fine. I swapped in some new parts, so you should be all right now. Try moving around. Everything in working order? Be more careful next time. We're tight on money right now, so we don't have a lot of parts or power to spare. I'm glad. Karkata, did you know? Yesterday, I dreamed that you could talk. Aren't the bunch at the Academia always saying things like, mechanical intelligence is just an extension of statistics? They were blown away when they saw us talking with each other. Too bad it was just a dream. Forget holding a conversation with me. You're so simple that you probably wouldn't even notice if I died. Never mind. I should probably be worrying about next month's power.
After Abatui left the Academia, everyone lost contact with him. I thought he was so despondent that he gave up on researching mechanical life forms. Instead, he had holed up here and continued his experiments.
Paimon doesn't feel like he's a bad person. He even changed out Karkata's broken parts. Why would he mess with ley lines?
Let's keep looking around. Following the serial numbers, the next recording should be here. The writing is sloppy. Perhaps his state of mind had changed. There's also an undated tape in the wrong spot. It doesn't seem like Abatui put it there.
Maybe Karkata helped him with sorting.
It's hard to say. These are the last 2 tape recordings. Let's watch them.
Sorry, Karkata. I was just thinking about something. Today might become a special day. In my recent experiments, I successfully gave you a living being's instincts. When you're low on power, or if one of your parts is damaged, you will prioritize your survival command and proactively recharge or replace your parts. That is a very dangerous thing. And today, I did something even more dangerous. I've officially activated the 3rd generation ley line extractor. The ley lines will serve as our power source from now on. Conducting research on mechanical life forms requires a large amount of power. Even if I scrimped and saved, the more I have wouldn't last for long. I'm also getting tired, Karkata. I don't know what's driving me to continue with this research anymore. They say that even if it simulates the operation of a living creature's organs, a machine is still an ice-cold tool. I want to prove them wrong. I want to turn you into a living, breathing, and talking being. I'm not talking about anything cheerful, Karkata. Modules for language, emotion, and movement. I've been working my absolute hardest to augment and refine your functionalities, but I've never seen an effective response. You are my finest success, but even you can't understand me. All you can do is execute limited responses based on preset commands or keywords. Karkata, I wish you could speak to me, even just once. Yes, you cannot understand me, so you cannot answer me either. It is what it is. In a few days, I'll sell the failed ley line extractor for some more and continue my experiments. Life goes on, and I have to as well. I don't have any other choice. This is new. If I place another 2 control modules here to simulate the brain's thalamus... Of course my heart decides to act up now. Why did I cut medication from our expenses? Karkata, come help me. Strange. I feel weak. Oh no, I have to shut down the extractor. Shut it off. If we let them recharge indefinitely, they'll go out of control. Right. I never input a command to shut down the extractor, so you don't understand what I'm saying.
In the end, it's just like the Academia said. Mechanical life forms only bring danger. My research... Was there any point to it at all? I'm sorry, Kakata. In the end, I still wasn't able to turn you into a true mechanical life form.
I see. So, the ley line effluence was an accident. After Abatui's unexpected death, the mechanical monsters were driven by their instincts and continuously drew out power from the ley line extractor. This eventually resulted in severe damage to the ley lines.
Paimon understands. Then why didn't Karkata go haywire like the other machines?
Because Karkata is different from the other machines. To Abatui, for a machine to truly be considered a mechanical life form, it must possess features similar to any other living organism. It should be structured similarly, it must be able to cry and laugh, and it must have the capacity for independent thought. Perhaps only by building such a machine could he have the Academia acknowledge his protracted research. But if he had slowed down and saw Karkata as a friend instead of as an experimental product, he would have noticed. Karkata can't speak, and yet it cares about Abatui far more than it does about itself.
What does that mean?
You'll see in a bit, but before that, we have a more urgent task at hand. First, let's find the control unit for the ley line extractor and shut it down. Once we turn it off, the ley line extractor should also shut down. Without an external force damaging the ley lines, they should start to slowly repair themselves. Oh, but I bet you two are more worried about Karkata. Let's head back.
So, Karkata has been collecting parts because it thinks doing so will fix its owner?
Karkata is unable to understand the concept of death. However, it probably remembers when Abatui replaced its parts when it malfunctioned, and how that restored it to an operational state. It's true that Karkata isn't able to think or understand many topics, but it is like a small child that imitates what adults do.
So that's why it kept stealing mechanical parts. But it can't repair its owner, no matter how hard it tries.
Yes, but the important thing is that it formed the thought of wanting to repair Abatui. Who knows how this thought came to be, but it has even suppressed the instincts that Abatui had installed. If it really is as we've predicted, this research truly will make waves in the academia. It might have been possible to achieve this with ancient technology, but no one has been able to do the same with modern tools.
Karkata? Karkata? Can you hear Paimon? Tighnari says you're awesome!
It reached its limit. It hasn't recharged this entire time, nor has it replaced its severely damaged parts. It's truly a miracle that it managed to hang on for so long. I'm gonna go confirm that the ley line extractor has shut down. Come with me. Let them be alone for a while. The ley line extractor has ceased operations. Traces of ley line energy are still in the atmosphere, but the effluence's source has been stopped. The purification devices will handle the rest. Moving on. Those affected by the ley lines need immediate care. We'll put up an announcement on the bulletin board about the dangers of entering the contaminated region, and for symptomatic individuals to find Kale. According to the Academia's policies, we need to bring everything back. Research materials related to mechanical life forms will all be destroyed, and Karkata will be disassembled and sealed away.
What the heck?
You two should return first. I'll take care of things here. Although we've stopped the source of the effluence, the ley line energy in the air exceeds normal values. Your bodies won't be able to hold up if you continue to stay here.
But...
Listen, the Traveler hasn't rested very well, right? Also, it'll take some time to pack up all the research documents. You're not familiar with this research after all, so you won't be of much use here. Tell the Adventurers Guild that the incident has been resolved, and, then get some sleep. We can discuss matters tomorrow. Oh, and don't talk about Abatui. The fewer that know about mechanical life form research, the better.
All right. Then let's go back to Catherine. Anyway, so the contaminated region turned out to be a ley line effluence deep in the forest. Things are already getting back to normal.
I see. Thank you for your hard work. Once the excess ley line energy dissipates from the air, we should be able to make an announcement for residents to resume their normal activities. This is the stipulated reward. Please accept it.
Is Karkata going to be sent back to the Academia? It's already damaged, but Paimon feels sad thinking about it getting disassembled. Oh, then how about we find Tighnari tomorrow and ask him not to do that? Paimon really wants to go right now, but Tighnari said that we would discuss matters tomorrow. We'll probably make him mad if we go now, huh? Alright then, we'll find Tighnari tomorrow and tell him not to disassemble Karkata.
Shh! Keep your voice down. The lilac daphne, a daphne of the genus Thameliaceae, has a strong anticonvulsant effect. It can also be made into an anesthetic powder. Extrapolating from these two data sets, it would be particularly potent against Piscine species. Hey, make sure you're getting all this down.
Karkata?
I thought I told you all to keep your voices low. Plants aren't afraid of noise, but your shouting is making my ears ring.
You didn't disassemble Karkata?
Why would I do that?
But Paimon thought you said, according to the Academia's policies,
So that's why you two barged in like barbarians at this hour. Fine. I suppose I wasn't clear enough about this yesterday. What I meant was, according to the Academia's policies, all products of research must be destroyed. That's why we can't let the Academia discover that place. Anyway, the first thing I did was repair Karkata. During my time at the Academia, I took an elective course at the Spontamod. Who knew it would prove useful one day? We then buried Abatui together. After organizing the research materials, I kept some as a souvenir. Most of it was burned to hide the evidence. I'm not with the Academia, so what do their policies have to do with me? On the other hand, I am the Forest Watcher of the Avidia Forest. I have a duty to protect all life in the forest. All life brought forth in this world has meaning, and Karkata is no exception. If it exists, then it shouldn't be carelessly abandoned or destroyed.
That's great! Wait, you just said life form. You recognize Karkata as a true living being now?
The possibility exists is all. It's hard to explain Karkata's efforts to repair Abatui. Abatui only left behind a small portion of his research. Who knows how many commands he installed? Maybe a conflict between all those commands resulted in this sort of behavior. From a more rigorous perspective, it is impossible to conclude that Karkata is a real life form. But the possibility exists. I am willing to believe in that. By the way, I'm not interested in continuing research on this subject. I'm just letting it hang out here because this place is relatively secluded. But as things stand now, it wouldn't be a bad idea to make it my research assistant. At the very least, it can record my experiments. What do you think?
Over here. I'm sure you're wondering why I brought Karibert here to Sumeru. Well, it's because he needs a medicine that can only be made here. One which will help him to recover his clarity of mind. I do not hope to break the curse. I am well aware of my powerlessness against the punishment of the gods. But it is said that this medicine is imbued with the power of Sumeru's god of wisdom and can awaken the mind from a state of deep stupor. It has been used in the past to treat cases of mania. I believe that it might just work. I read about it in a book. From the Royal Library of Conria. It was banned. I mean, since this medicine requires the power of the Seven to work. In my youth, I disliked the life of nobility and craved excitement. I was leafing through some forbidden text and happened upon it. What other choice do I have? What exactly would you have me do, huh? The gods have already punished us. What does one more sin matter now? Never mind. As long as you understand. I'm sorry. I struggle to take control of my mood sometimes. Perhaps a consequence of having lived too long. As it happens, I am in dire need of some help to make this medicine. My hands don't have the dexterity they once did. I fear they may be decaying from within. All thanks to this curse of immortality. Okay. To start with, take this ingredient. Also, do you have any, of Sumeru's regional specialties on hand? I believe they're called Kalpalata lotuses and Sumeru roses. Oh, wonderful! Oh, in that case, we have everything we need. This is the method for making the medicine. You just need to follow the steps. Is it done? Oh, splendid. Let me see. In all honesty, I do not know what the end product is supposed to look like. The banned book didn't feature any illustrations. Well, the moment has finally arrived. Curses. No! We need to perform one final step to complete the medicine. I said before that this medicine relies on the power of the God of Wisdom for its restorative effects. Which means we must pay a visit to a statue of the Seven. Let's go. Bring the medicine with you. Look at this statue. How can I bow before this thing? God of Wisdom! Look at me! I will utter no prayer, nor will I sing your praises. You and your kind destroyed my home, wrought unfathomable suffering on my compatriots, yet here I stand before you. You cannot mock me more than fate itself already has. God of Wisdom, I seek not to disavow myself of the sinful blood that flows through my veins. I wish only to beseech you to have pity upon a young and unfortunate soul, my son, Caribert. He was turned into a monster before he had the chance to witness anything beautiful in this world. This is no fate for a child. If everything the gods have done was in order to have the impious people of Conria bow their heads, then I bow to you now. I have given up all I ever stood for. All I ask is for a tiny miracle. For Caribert to see this world once more. Please, God! I beg of you. I have made quite enough of a fool of myself for one day. Let's go.
Hey, Traveler! Traveler!
Nick! Traveler? Traveler?
What happened while you were unconscious? I checked the ley lines nearby. It appears that the Abyss tampered with them, and they've been in turmoil ever since. Information and memories flow within the ley lines. What did you witness? You mean Clotar Alberich? After founding the Abyss Order, his faith in the Abyss led him to do a great many things. But the curse of immortality continued to torment his body and mind. And in the end, neither his faith nor the Abyss he worshipped could save him. After 100 years, he lost his mind completely and was never seen again. Yet his dark legacy lived on. The defiled statue that we encountered previously was just one perverse product of his use of abyssal power during his life. You could say that. He wouldn't be the Abyss Order's prince otherwise.
Are you alright? You have a troubled look on your face. What happened?
So you saw his memories from centuries ago through your own eyes. It all but defies belief. Still, as I'd suspected, the notion of the Loom of Fate did indeed rear its head during that time. And it seems closely connected to Clotar Alberich's son, Caribert, and what happened to him. And yet your brother never breathed a word of this incident to me. I wonder, was that the moment that he decided to go down this path? Indeed. Clearly this series of events sparked a long period of deep contemplation. This was where it all began. What is it?
The field? What does that have to do with anything?
You mean here? Well, let's start digging and see.
You scared the Duke out of Paimon! Did you rebury them yet?
A male and female skeleton, buried together. Interestingly, the male skeleton appears to have been interred much later, and it's holding a silk scarf in its hand. But what does this mean? And how did you know that there were bodies buried here? What? That's impossible. Unless Clotar Alberich finally found a way to rid himself of the curse. This all raises far too many questions. I need time to think, and to search my memories for some missing pieces. We should part ways here.
Huh? You're just gonna leave? Why? You could come with us, you know.
It's better that we split up for now. I think that he might have seen you.
Who's he?
Yes. I have my suspicions as to his identity, but I need to confirm some other details before I can be sure. If the time is right, I will tell you when we next meet.
But what do you mean that he saw the Traveler? How is that possible?
I fear that while these things would limit anyone else, they are no obstacle to him.
What? Why? What is he?
All right, let's leave it there. Get some rest. Goodbye.
There goes Dane. And just like that, it's back to being the two of us again, huh? What is it? Huh?
Huh? You serious? Can't say I saw that coming. But you are travelers after all. I guess you'd never stay for too long in one place. Bumping into you like this will become a rarity. I'm starting to feel sad just thinking about it. Hey, how about I gather a few mercs to escort you two? What do you say?
Thanks, but no need. Oh, Paimon had no clue you'd miss us so much. But don't worry, we'll come back to see everyone when we get a chance.
Sounds good. All you need to do to get to Fontaine is cross this stretch of desert and navigate some waterways. Knowing you two, I'm sure it won't be anything you can't handle. So, when are you leaving?
Oh, wait a sec. Paimon just remembered there are still a few dishes in Sumeru that Paimon hasn't tried yet. Now, where's that list Paimon made?
I see. Guess you won't be needing a going-away party or anything. It's sad enough to see you go like this. Though, now that I think about it, Sumeru wouldn't be what it is today without you. Seems true heroes always prefer leaving quietly.
By the way, should we go say bye to Nahida? Oh, good point. Then there's no need to bother her in the real world.
Then, I guess this is goodbye for now, Traveler in Paimon. Whether as a client or a friend, you're always welcome to come find me.
Goodbye, Dia. Bye-bye, Sumeru.